So first of all, Yulia, thank you for doing that live with me, and welcome.
Sorry for wasting the time again. I probably will take the weekend to work out the kinks.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
So let's jump right into business. When I was going to bed, I'm located in Germany. I'm the founder of Zignify Global Product Sourcing. I've been working in sourcing, supply chain, and everything that relates to that for over 20 years. Not only with China, but with many different countries abroad. We have tons of customers who are located in the US, who are located outside of US, who do sourcing in the United States, in China, and many other countries. I think one of the first things that I would like to mention is there is a lot of information going out there, and a lot of people who do not work in e-commerce or import-export industries, they don't even understand what the Trump tariffs are, because the President Trump, he keeps saying that all of the tariffs that they will be paid by the countries on which they will be imposed. So currently, for example, in the last few months, the new tax on China, the new import tax or tariffs on China was up by 20%. And last night, it was up by another 34%, making it 54%.
right,
Add
Julia.
to
I'm sorry to interrupt, but because this is like an open conversation, that particular point I want to point it out because you see both of us will agree, but some clients of mine told me, no, I read in the news it's going to be this 34 plus the basic tariff. Some of them told me it's going to be the basic plus 20 plus 34. So
plus
not
25.
Yeah, so let's try to make a conclusion on that. As my knowledge is, that's going to be the basic tariff plus 20 plus 34 from China or wherever it is. So just want,
That's correct.
yeah,
Yeah, that's correct. So if, for example, we have some customers right now who, let's say, if you're doing notebooks, from China,
yeah,
the notebook was already under 25% tax from the previous administration. Then in the last few months, another 20% added on top of that. So it's at 45% plus another 34. So it's insane. You can't handle this, right? And so yeah, that is the basic problem. However, the for example, the tax that will be imposed on European countries, on Europe, which is 20%, the Trump administration said that it already includes the base 10% tariff. So the 10% blanket tariff that has been imposed on, I wrote it down on purpose, 180 countries across the globe, right? So if it's 10%, if they're saying 20, the 20% is already including 10. If it is, for example, Vietnam is like over 40% tariff, right? This already includes the 10%. And this I've been telling people for weeks, if not for months. Vietnam is going to get hit as well, because United States was looking at the trade deficit. But then at the same time, Indonesia got hit with the tariff, and there is no trade deficit. So it is absolutely unclear how any of the tariffs were calculated. But a lot of people, again, the first thing is, for no offense to anybody, but for dummies. A lot of people don't understand that it is the consumers in the United States who are going to end up paying for the tariffs. For example, I made a post last night on LinkedIn where I said, guys, do you know that 9 out of 10 of all of the prescription drugs in the United States are actually manufactured outside of the United States? 9 out of 10, right? Most of them are manufactured in India, a lot of them manufactured in Germany, Switzerland, etc., etc. US simply, and this is people from manufacturing industry in the United States, they say we cannot produce those drugs in the United States and sell them for the price where people can afford them, right? They
right.
simply cannot, hence they need to outsource them. So 9 out of 10 drugs, some of this was hit with the were hit with the tariffs, others not. So we see big troubles coming, but at the same time, there are ways to kind of deal with that and counteract. So first things first, in my personal opinion, this cannot last for too long. If you're looking, I don't know, so if you're a little bit of a history buff, the economics and things like this, or you can read up on this later. There was in 1921, the United States have imposed kind of global tariffs on many different countries. And this tariff was kind of a blanket tariff, and they were very high, some up to 500% on import of different types of agricultural products and foods. And because they wanted to protect the farmers in the United States. But what ended up happening is that, of course, the countries outside of you, like all of the partners, they hit US with reciprocal tariffs, and the cost of bringing in the machinery that actually produces all of the agricultural products, it went up. So, and the machinery was mostly produced in Germany and some other European countries. So instead of making it better, the government made it worse. And back in 1921, the interdependencies of the countries on one another was not as integral and was not as strong as it is in today's day and age. Look at the simplest thing, the car industry in the United States. There is not one car in United States, including Tesla, that is fully manufactured from US-made parts. And even the parts that will be coming into the United States, they will be taxed, right?
Yulia, what is that? Try to explain to me if you can understand. Because I really trying to understand all day long and couldn't find really an answer for that. So both of us, I would say, know quite few Americans, right? And all of them that are still during Biden administration, by the way, like raise the issue about inflation. There's inflation in America. We used to go to the supermarket, buy, you know, like $300, now it's almost $500.
Buy eggs now in US.
Yesterday. So let's take, for example, Nike, all right? The brand Nike or whatever top brand you can think about. They, like most of them, importing from Vietnam, right? Manufacturing, importing from Vietnam. So let's take, like, I don't know, Jordan, right?
Amit, Emil says, can you please improve your microphone audio? You're not clear.
Right. Yeah, everybody, yeah, listen better.
Oh, yeah, that's better.
Yeah. So I'm saying let's take for example Nike Jordan, right? So currently let's say they're going to cost $150. So the stock level in America will end sometime, and then they need to import again.
Actually, Amit, your microphone is not better.
No? Do you hear me better?
Yes, especially when you speak like that.
Yeah, that's sexy. Yeah, so you're saying like the you know those tariffs can cause a crazy inflation, inflation in the American citizen. So what is the like what do you think and why Trump did this move? Because we all understand it's going to impact the inflation crazy in America for the American citizen. And I understand, personally understand the main goal is to make like America great again.
Yes.
But on the other hand, we put in place inflation on the citizens. So what's going on over in your opinion?
So look, I'm talking here from a perspective of a person who is involved in the politics as on the points where I need to look after the policies and where I try to understand what is happening in the world. When it comes to President Trump, it's very hard to understand the next move. So first things first, let's look at the government in general. We have Elon Musk, who is the lead of the Doge department, who is firing thousands of people, and this is going to be really bad because a lot of those people are responsible for economical and social support for those in need. So this is going to go downhill fast. My personal opinion, that's just what I see from when I put the information together from independent resources. And now we're hearing that most likely Elon Musk is going to be leaving the government and the department because Tesla's shares are crushing. Starlink shares are crushing. The second largest user base of Starlink is located where? In Canada. And Canada has already announced that they are they're canceling the contract for Starlink. So this is a lot of money. So this is kind of a loss for sure. So you got this guy leaving the department. So for me, I was speaking for months, since November, right? Since the elections and even before that, I was saying that and since we found out that Musk is going to be in the government, Musk has a lot of stake in making money in terms of different types of businesses. Musk, the Tesla factory in China is the only factory in China, that is 100% owned by, let's call it, a foreigner. So it's a 100% FDI, foreign direct investment. All of the other factories, whether it's Volkswagen, it doesn't matter, Audi, Mercedes, they all have local participants who are invested in it. Tesla is the only one who is 100% FDI. So I thought that somehow they're going to play around that, because he can't lose the money, right? Hence, he's partly in the government. So there are two things that are happening. We have obviously the tariffs. And again, most of the people misunderstand the word tariff. Tariff is tax. It's an import tax. And you as the US consumer are going to be paying for this. And secondly, you need to look at the tax breaks that Trump has announced. The tax breaks will be pretty much only good for those people who are making over $300,000, $350,000 per year. If you are a citizen who is making less than that, you will actually end up paying more tax and you will have less money. So everything that I'm currently seeing is all of the organizations, big organizations in the United States, for example, automakers, they are being protected by the government because 25% import tax on the vehicles that come from outside of US. So there's this protectionist policy. So the big companies are making more money. But when it comes to smaller businesses, first they lost their workers. I'm sorry, but people in the United States, they're not going to go and work on the fields and collect strawberries and avocados in California and garlic and work in the factories. You will have some of those people, but it's not going to be a tremendous amount. It's as simple as that. So you need those workers. I personally know, not factories, but fields and farmers in the United States whose businesses are going to go bankrupt in about 2 months because 70% of their workers came from Mexico and other countries. Yes, they were illegal, but that's why they took such low-paying jobs. And the Americans, they don't want to go work those jobs. And when they do, they're asking for money that are like, are you insane? So inflation is coming. The prices are going to go higher. This is going to be really like, unless there is a break, which I think will come, because if this will continue on the path that it is going right now, Trump has already eliminated, or he's at the stage where all of the trade partners are almost being eliminated. Europe is going to go against United States, not in the form of taxes on goods. They will start taxing the tech giants, Facebook, Google, and the rest of them, because because on average, if you look at those guys, the taxes that they're paying in Europe by being smart is on average 7% corporate tax. This is nothing on billions and billions of dollars. So EU and Europe in general, they will go after tech giants rather than after physical goods. You already see that Korea, Japan, and China, they were literally the other day standing there shaking hands saying, let's make the trade between us great. So US is eliminating everybody. So the rest of the world is simply going to refocus. United States is not the only market out there. Other countries, they're gaining momentum, they're earning money, and they have some production, and they have better pricing, etc., etc. So a lot of people are going to refocus, and the US population is going to suffer. They will go into inflation. They are not going to have as many things to buy for better pricing, and the choice will simply lower down, because I mean, if you sold a notebook for $20 before, you need to sell it now for, let's say, 25 to cover your costs. And for $5 here, $5 there, it's already a huge difference. I was watching at some of the prices, like there's a mustard, a certain type of mustard that is being sold for $8. Now with the new tariffs and everything, you're gonna pay over $10 for mustard. It just combines, so it's going to be a big recession. People who had money, they will continue having money and earning more. So if you're an Amazon seller, e-commerce seller, again, I've been saying this for years, focus on the products that are targeted a niche market for people who have money and most likely are not going to lose money in the upcoming recession. So higher, yeah.
And then I have a question because, accounting fair is soon to be here, right? In about, what is it, like 2 weeks or so? I would assume that let's say most of the Amazon sellers that are listening to us here are probably manufactured from China, right? The biggest hit happened in China, I guess, now, especially because most of them like manufacturing in China. And I'm talking about Amazon sellers now.
Yeah.
Going now into the accounting fair, give us some tips if this is the right time now to negotiate about pricing.
Oh, hell yeah.
Like if I'm coming now as a seller going out to the accounting fair, things have changed, right? That's with exclamation.
You know yourself, we do a Canton Fair sourcing trip twice a year, right? And this is like the perfect opportunity. We need to understand, during the last 2 Canton Fairs already, the demand from American buyers, it has decreased. So I've been looking at the numbers, how many people have actually attended the Canton Fair and which countries they came from. So there is an increase in people coming from Europe, from the UAE, from the Middle East region, and there was a decrease in buyers coming from America. Now I'm predicting there's going to be even a higher increase of people coming from Europe, from Canada, and all of the surrounding countries. Look, it's logic, economics. The demand right now is lower than the supply. So what do? You renegotiate. We literally, like our team right now is literally renegotiating tons of contracts in China because we're decreasing the prices and it doesn't matter if you're an American buyer or a buyer coming from anywhere. Again, when the manufacturers, when they don't have enough demand, they need to make do with smaller margins to stay in business. And we need to use those opportunities. I don't want anyone to work at cost. At the end of the day, you have a business, I have a business, Amazon sellers, etc., etc. Factories, they're also people. They also have families and they should make money, right? So I would never have them work at cost. But right now is like the perfect time to negotiate. That's for sure. This is why, we have some customers who are 8-figure sellers and 9-figure sellers, and we're literally renegotiating right now, and we're decreasing the prices maybe 5 to 7%, depending on the products in China with existing manufacturers by leveraging. So again, one of the easiest ways to decrease the prices, first things first, look at your BOM, at your bill of material. See what actually is included in the manufacturing of your product. Another important thing, if you have an opportunity to go to your factory and go through the manufacturing process step by step, do this. Because you think differently. Amit, you think differently from me because you come from Israel, I come from Russia. You're Jewish, I am, what am I? Christian Orthodox. You're a man, I'm a woman. All of those things. We have absolutely different perspectives. So when you go into manufacturing, you might notice something that the people who have been working there for 20 years, they can't see anymore. They're blind to it. So you can help to optimize your production. One of the easiest examples, I will show here on the example of the book again. One of the easiest examples of how to reduce your price, and many people are like, what? Is look at your packaging. and look at your product. For example, if it includes paper. So we have a way of printing on your packaging. Most of the people, they use the CMYK. CMYK, these are the 4 basic colors that make all of the other colors up, right? And this is how you go into printing. This is not CMYK because it has some very special colors that needed to be mixed by hand. This is more expensive to do because it takes more time. You need to clean the machinery between the different prints, and you need to mix by hand. So a lot of people, they want to go for a more expensive product and for better experience, but the price they're paying is way too much and they can't afford it. So this is one of the ways that you can actually optimize your manufacturing a little bit. Look if you're printing in CMYK or not. And if you're not, get the price, because your price might be 10 to 20 cents cheaper for packaging, and that's already additional margin for you. If you can't go to China, WeChat, have a video call, test it beforehand so it works, not like us, right? Have a video call and have your account manager, your sales manager, whoever that is, to take you through the manufacturing facility and show you step by step how your product is made. Again, it takes 1 second for you to see this thing, to come up with a new idea of how to potentially tell the manufacturer how to save costs, right? The point here is that when you're going to the manufacturer, you need to tell them, guys, I don't want to take money away from you. Amit, I don't want to take money away from you. I want you to make as much money as you're making right now, if not more. So let's put our heads together and see where we can optimize our costs. This is how you're supposed to treat all of your manufacturers, regardless of which countries they're located in. So again, a lot of people are afraid of what is happening. And with Trump, it's extremely hard to predict what is going to happen. But in my opinion, these tariffs at the height, at the level that they're right now, they cannot last long, because this will, not rhetorically speaking, but this will literally cause death and starvation and poverty and potentially civil war in the United States. Because when people are hungry, and when they can't feed their children, do you know, since the egg crisis in the United States, so in the United States right now, there is an egg crisis because there is bird flu, and they had to cull over 30 million chickens. Right. And because of this, they started buying the eggs from other countries as well. So the prices are insane, right? And already 1/3 of people in the United States, they stopped buying eggs because they got so expensive. 1/3. So imagine if this continues, this will ruffle all of the feathers in the society. Already now you can see a lot of Trump supporters saying, not good for our business. We're kind of a medium-sized and small to medium-sized enterprise. What's happening is not good for our business.
That's what you get, by the way, from reading dozens of Americans just the past 24 hours. Yulia, let's give some, we have some people here. Anyone have question to me, to Yulia, about whatever it is?
No questions. We talk too much.
That's not
well, I want to, if you don't mind me, I want to add one more thing. So a lot of people think, what is the reason for the tariffs? Because this is something that you ask me, is what the economists call the trickle-down economies. So meaning when you're taking more taxes in, right, these taxes are later trickle down and distribute and redistribute within the whole of society. Unfortunately, and you can hear this currently from the leading economists, not only all over the world, but in the United States as well, that in this case, this is not how it's going to work. The reason for this is US manufacturing base is not set up. So President Trump is saying, we want everything to be manufactured here, so everybody needs to stop manufacturing there. Again, very easy. Like literally today, we were discussing one of our customers. The customer produces a box. Okay, it's a box where they put their product. It's about, I don't know, like this size, or it's relatively large. So wait, I have calculations written down here. So the box itself costs 70 US cents. So 07. It's a very nice box. It's good. Like there is like a special flute, like bee flute inside, so it doesn't break in shipping and all of that. So the box itself costs 70 cents. On this box, it's 25% plus 20% plus 34% plus shipping, right? And on top, so we take the product cost, we take the shipping, and we take this together, and we add all of the import taxes. So at the end of the day, the landed cost for this product is USD 1.6. USD 1.6. This is based on a very it's a large quantity. It's a 140 high cube container, which fits about 20,000 boxes. Okay, 20,000 product boxes. At the same time, we know that our customer already buys similar boxes, but honestly, they're a lot lower quality and they're uglier, for the lack of a better. So they're not as good. They are manufacturing it in US, on the US soil. You know how much they're paying? $3. $3. So even for 20,000 boxes. So even with all of the import taxes and shipping and everything, China is still almost half the price.
That is in terms of MQ, right? Now, because basically the idea here with this live is to help sellers to try to, I don't know, facilitate better, reduce the cost, whatever you want to do that. Do you think in terms of MQ, and understand like purchasing bigger orders can be problematic for various reasons, but generally speaking, do you think increasing the MQs now can be maybe a good opportunity, or you are against it?
You mean in China? Again, China right now is an open playing field for negotiations. Reap and sow, and like this is a perfect opportunity. We have one guy that wants to come for our October Canton Fair sourcing trip, but I said, dude, after the announcement yesterday, I literally gave him a call and I said, you need to come now, because within a few months, this most likely is going to be gone, but we don't know for sure. So it's time to negotiate with your manufacturers now. So yes, MOQs can also negotiate. Look, when we compare manufacturing in the United States, for example, and we're doing a lot of this right now for our customers versus China, US MOQs are always higher because why are they always higher? Because most of the raw material, or a lot of the raw material for manufacturing of the products in the United States comes from somewhere from outside of the United States. So they do not have a good supply chain set up. So they actually need to buy decent quantities to offer you still an indecent price. Let's put it this way. Then they need to ship it. Then they need to import it, on which now they're going to have the tax, right? Same thing we discussed about the cars. And then they need to manufacture it. In China, most of the parts for the supply chain, they're within China. Maybe it's only a few hours drive of where you're getting raw materials. They always have stock somewhere. So you're a lot more likely to negotiate better MOQs, especially now. Again, if you're going crazy customization on your product, that's a lot harder because, again, be human. Try to think in human terms. The person you're talking to on the other side represents a company. They also have families. They also need to make money. You need to make money. They need to make money. We all need to feed our families. And I think when we go from that basic principle, doing business with one another becomes a lot better, because we understand, can we do business together in the first place? Or am I pushing you without a reason, and it's not gonna happen? Roy is asking, why do you think that the tariff will be gone in a few months? Because if it will not, it will cause financial and humanitarian disaster in the United States. Look, if we look at US is an extremely consumption high society. Everybody buys, a lot of people buy things that they don't need. I see families who are supposedly poor, and they take out, like, the country lives on taking out credits, buying cars they can't afford, etc., etc. So the country is already in recession. So if the tariffs are going to stay in place, the things that people will be afford will not even be the basic things. We're talking food, we're talking sustenance, we're talking housing, right? The price for houses or for rent is going to increase dramatically as well. Why? Because where do you think materials for actually constructions come from? The cement comes from Mexico, a lot of it. The steel comes from Germany, from India, from China. So everything, all of the prices are going to go up. And when people cannot afford to take care of themselves and the families, they will revolt. So obviously Trump put all of this.
Do you think the result will increase the interest as well?
Sorry, come again?
Do you think the Federal Reserve will increase the interest as well in order to try to reduce the inflation?
Of course. I mean, there is no other choice. Like, look, again, I'm speaking from the logic. I mean, I do have an MBA, but there's I'm not a finance person. My grandmother was an accountant for over 50 years, and she she was the whiz, and I always love to talk to her about those things. But they have no choice. There is no choice. Look at the stock exchange market, what happened with it last night, what was the crash. There is the debt that the US currently has is over 33 billion, right?
There is panic all over the world. Last question for you, Yulia, unless you have something for me. That's just I'm wondering. I heard in the news this morning that the only country, basically beside the 10%, that there is no really aggressive additional tariff is Russia. What is it? Is it politics? Is it what's going on? Because
are you asking me because I'm Russian and you think I have insider?
You got rationality. You think on Russia they need to impose 100% duty, right? So what's going on?
I actually, this was the first thing that I started Googling and researching and things like this, because I'm like, come on. And everybody kind of forgot about the war, right? That Russia invaded Ukraine and things like this. I'm like, okay. So the comment on this by Trump administration, I think, or was it Trump himself? They said, well, there's so many sanctions on Russia right now, and the trade is almost non-existent. There is no point of imposing any tariffs on them. Quote. Right? So this is what they said. I don't think there will be a good relationship anytime soon between United States and Russia. Again, United States wants the mineral resources. November 2024, this is what I'm telling everybody. November 2024, China has released already a few preemptive strikes towards the United States because they knew the tariffs would be coming. One of the first things they did is they canceled the VAT refund that the manufacturers get when they export, which was 8% for aluminum, right? Aluminum and copper as well. So when the Chinese manufacturer sends your goods to you, they get the VAT back from the government, which varies from 8% to 17%. They canceled that, which increased the prices of aluminum directly by 8%. At the same time, and this went kind of under the radar, Chinese government has imposed restrictions on selling 25 very specific natural resources to United States. Those resources, precious metals, they are used in the manufacturing of military, aerospace, and other electronic equipment on which US thrives. And what do you think is the contract for which minerals the United States is trying to sign right now with Ukraine? For those 25 band they can't get from China. And who else has those minerals? Russia.
Yeah. Global politics is a totally different story. Anyway, Yulia, thank you for joining me. If somebody wants to contact Zignify, how they can do it?
You can find me on Facebook, where I try to Yulia Blinova, Facebook or LinkedIn. I actually, if you don't mind, I have a question for you. What do you think is going to happen with shipping? I mean, currently I'm looking, the prices are still kind of stable, but wouldn't we expect the prices for the shipping actually to fall from China down to like 1,500 for a 40 high cube container?
I would say that the rationality side say yes, but normally when there is chaos, global chaos for whatever reason it is, shipping prices are increases. So also, at least from what I managed to hear today from my Chinese suppliers or Chinese vendors, some shipping lines decided to cancel shipment now because, again, because of the chaos. They said, okay, let's bypass this week, let's go next week. And again, it's about demand, like supply and demand. And when there is less supply, the demand is higher, so the prices are going up. So, in my opinion, overall, we're going to see the next month or two, we're going to see higher increase of the ocean freight.
Yep.
And in my opinion, if you're calculating, and I don't want to go into DDP, yes, no, it's not that time now. But if you're calculating overall your freight cost plus the duties, it's simply insane. It's insane. Like, I don't know, I really don't understand how people can make business now, because I will take some like basically the same example that you give in our start of the conversation. So, toys product that being manufactured mostly in China, they had like 0% duty prior to February 4th, right?
Yeah.
0%. Now it's 54% duty. So take an invoice of $20,000, all right? Just as the calculation. You previously paid zero, now you're gonna pay just the duty, yeah? $10,800. So you need to add it into your calculation, right? So in my opinion, overall, we're gonna see pretty fast increase in the selling rate on Amazon and other marketplaces for sure, because even if you're Chinese, even if you're doing DDP, still it's impact severely your total rate, and in my opinion, the freight cost will increase now.
Yeah. So, Roy, one more question that you asked before. Why do I think it will be gone in a few months? Again, I'm saying that unfortunately, most of the people in I'm specifically talking about United States right now, they're not educated in regards to the tariffs. Trump has been telling them and his administration that the tariffs will be absorbed by the Chinese, by the Europeans, by the country on which the tariffs are imposed. Most of the people, they don't understand how the tariffs work. In the next, starting this week already, people will already start feeling the squeeze, and everybody will start asking questions. Why are the prices increasing? And then everybody will start digging in and trying to understand what is actually happening. And when they will understand that all of the tariffs, there is no other way. I'm an Amazon seller myself. We have to pass it to the consumer, because as Amazon sellers, you're making what, maybe 15% margins? I was talking. Maybe.
50.
It was very interesting. I was just at Prosper Show in Las Vegas, and I met a lady, and she was press who works for Amazon. So she officially works for Amazon. And I was having a conversation with her. I was complaining about Amazon as usual. And I asked her, Mrs. Smith, what do you think are the margins right now, clean margins for Amazon sellers? She told me 50%. I'm like, what? Do you mean 15? She's like, no, 50. I'm like, no, that was never true. And maybe 10 years ago it was like 40, but a person who works for Amazon thought that the margins for Amazon sellers are 50%, when in reality they're like, for most of the customers we have like 15 to 20%. I know some who have 40, but that's like an exclusion from the rule rather than the rule, right? How to negotiate with your suppliers? I'm telling you, you need to look at the factory. If you can't go there, ask them to lead through your factory. Try to find supplementary suppliers. Try to find some other suppliers. Reach out to other manufacturers. If you will find better costs, and of course, order the samples. And then if your manufacturer is great and you love them, tell them, hey guys, I found another manufacturer. They have better pricing, and here are the samples. I don't want to leave you. I want to stay with you, but you need to match this offer. As simple as that. So we did something.
I really think at that point you need to be sorry for saying that like clearly, but those Israelis here will agree with me. Just you need to be Israeli. This is the way they live. We got it like, let's say you want to manufacture, I don't know, $1. You said, okay, 80 cents. Try to match it out. That's it. Like, be plain and simple and direct. The Chinese people, you need to come with dignity. You need to come with an honor to them, but eventually they understand money, they understand business. So you need to come, find an alternative supplier, and come to say, listen, exactly what you say. Listen, I love you. We're working together for a few years, but it's now time to adjust our pricing.
And one of the best things also to do, look, one of the worst things of ordering from China, this is not even the Trump taxes, this is the financial turnaround. If I'm a seller in Germany and I manufacture my product in Germany, I can literally place an order. My products can be ready. My products really can be ready within 7 days. So I can start selling them and getting my money back within 7 days. When you are ordering products from China and you're selling in US, your financial turnaround time is a lot longer. So one of the things is definitely trying to renegotiate your deferred payment. For example, net 60 or net 80, meaning paying 60 or 80 days after your shipment has left China. This will potentially help you to sustain what you have right now and to be a little bit more financially independent. We had a customer, he came with us to the Canton Fair sourcing trip. He used to buy his product for $6. We managed to negotiate it down to $3.50 and renegotiate his payment terms. At the end of the day, the orders with the manufacturer almost doubled because he had more resources, he made more money, and he managed to spend more money in PPC and other sales and development programs. So at the end of the day, the manufacturer actually made more money. Again, to the Chinese, Amit, as you rightly said, you need to explain to them, I want you to make more money. You can't come to anybody and say, hey, give me lower price because I'm not making money. No. Look, I'm making very little money. You're making some money. Let's sit down together and see how we both can make more. This is the approach that should be there. Not me, but us. Yeah.
Exactly. All right, cool. Yulia, thank you very much, guys. Thank you for joining. Hopefully, we make some order in everything that's going on. News will definitely come. More news will definitely come. And yeah,
in a few hours, probably knowing Trump.
most likely, the exchange stock will be crazy today, tomorrow.
Yeah.
And anyway, guys, thank you. If anybody wants to approach Julia, you can find her on LinkedIn, on Facebook. If anybody wants to approach me, the same basically. And good luck and thank you for everybody.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.